Hello and welcome. I'm Kingsley with MMO Play. We're going to be taking a quick look at Cabal 2. It's a recently gone into beta, massive MMORPG, like massive. I said it twice, that's how massive it is. One of the premier points about this game, if you're like, what even is this? Number one, it looks absolutely amazing. I was taking notes as I do when playing any game that I'm looking into, and I think I unintentionally wrote down this game looks amazing about 5 times. And granted, there is a certain level of I'm kind of a sucker for any kind of effects or ambient aesthetics, but it really is good. I don't think it's just me being a sucker. I think it's just really spectacular, and you'll see that in the background footage here. Unfortunately, the game is having some major issues when it comes to downloading and playing. There are a lot of glitches. I was unable to capture my footage, which is why I'm running a press release in the back. But otherwise, I don't think everyone is not having that problem, but some people definitely are, me included, and it was a real disappointment. I really wanted to play more and more of this game and give you a much more of a beta review, but instead I'm gonna have to go with first impressions because I actually could not get the game to even work. So that's one thing to be aware of. Personally, my download was broken. I uninstalled, reinstalled, and tried actually on another machine, and it just wouldn't work. One time, or actually several times in particular, I got it to a playable state, and then when I loaded in, it would actually be missing a whole bunch of textures. So that's something to be aware of. Maybe if your internet or computer isn't top of the line, you may have an unnecessary level of trouble actually getting the game to play, which is a pretty big issue. But I think if you like what you see in the background, it is absolutely worth the try. I mean, just look at the effects, man. It's just spectacular. All the animations on the characters are so incredibly well done. So yeah, I'm just going to go through my notes here, and we're going to take a look at some of the features. My first note, of course, if you played this game, is, oh my gosh, why do they have the movement default to turn as you press A and D instead of strafe? That's really aggravating. If you don't know what I'm talking about, basically they made the movement really uncooperative, and it shouldn't be like that. In every game ever, it should not be like that. It's just not a way you should be playing the game. Maybe on console. Yeah, actually, you know what? Now that I think about that, it is console controls. This turning left and right, turning instead of strafing. That's totally console. No, I don't know. But anyway, it's annoying. It's something I don't know why they even do it like that. I wrote down effects and gravitas in combat feel great. So as you can see, like the screen moves around and it kind of does its own effects, and like the lights light up everything in the general area. I think it still could use some polish, even though there is, like I said, lights do fall on some objects, but not all of them, and there could be a little bit more in terms of actually changing your environment and how it affects it, and you, of course. There was a really weird thing where, like most games, you can just disable all your chat, which what I usually do. But for some reason, I was still getting global chat, which was spamming me with, like, buy our gold, which is crazy. How many people, like, this game just, well, actually, no, it didn't just come out. It just opened up to beta, but it was still available for play previously, I think. It's really tricky. They're really confusing about it. Because I know it's been in development for a while, but it actually just released for beta, which doesn't make any sense. So you can imagine my confusion. So as you can imagine, some of the more beta-y things like cutscenes are just almost broken. It has really weird, like, super sharp cuts in between, going in and out of the cutscenes, which is really staggering. And it's like, whoa, okay, cutscene, okay, all right, I guess. And it was all wonky. For some reason, the cutscenes are just really, like, surprisingly bad. It's really disappointing. It's not to say the story's interesting, because it's not, and it doesn't matter, but it can be the animation was so bad in the cutscenes and nothing went the way it should. Oh, it's so bad. Yeah, that's something that really needs to be fixed as it goes along through this beta. So just try and ignore cutscenes, like just skip through it. Don't worry about it. You're not missing anything, and it looks really poorly done. There's a lack of sound effects sometimes, which is it's a minor issue, especially if you don't even turn the music up in games like this. Again, you're not missing much, but it's something that needs to be fixed. It really helps, especially when you start playing, to get at least the sound effect in your head. That way you can just kind of it sounds weird when you say it out loud, but you can kind of play that sound back in your head when you're actually striking something or whatever or what have you. If you play one game a lot with the sound up, you'll get the kind of idea of it. But yeah, it feels weird to have a nice big slash and not actually have a sound effect to go along with it. There is a mechanic that was like a constructive skill system. If you played the Rogue in World of Warcraft, you kind of have a general idea what's going on there. What it is you use, like, say a basic kind of slashy kind of deal. So what it is that you'll use like a basic kind of slashy kind of skill, and then you can use a more powered up version of. It's like a direct line of a scaling power, and it's just a neat system. It helps keep the combat system really engaging. And, on top of that, it looks just spectacular. I wrote that down, like I said, like 5 times. How great it looks, and every character looks amazing. Every character. Along that similar note of sound effects missing, there was also a lot of music missing. It would be really weird, like. If you ever programmed a game before, you have this kind of system where your music will turn on when you enter an area and turn off when you leave an area. And this game had this really weird sharp cuts in between moving from one area to the other on that little that border line before it changes, and so you could go back and forth between that, and it would sharp cut between music. It was really. That's something you really have to nail down, because that's so distracting. It's like, whoa, what's going on there? Yeah, it needs to be a real nice fade in between those. And some areas didn't have music at all. Bit of a problem, but these little things are. This is supposed to be such an immersive game, and it really takes you out if there's lacking music, lacking sound effects, sharp cuts all over the place. There's a slight problem with you can't keybind the side of your mouse buttons, which is really strange. Like in Guild Wars 2 and World of Warcraft, I would have interact, auto loot on the button underneath my thumb, so I wouldn't have to reach over to F. Oh man, I have to reach all over to F now. But it was a slight problem, something they could do with fix. I know I'm talking I'm just reading off my notes, so if I'm saying a lot of problems, that's why. But I like the number one thing, and I'm going to come back to this again and again and again. The combat is just spectacular. I think they changed up the formula. Oh, and one more thing. The level up system was really interesting. What it is typically in a level up system, every character in the end game is going to be exactly the same. In Guild Wars 2, World of Warcraft, every popular MMO out there is going to, once you get to that max level, you have some level of customization, but everyone's character is going to be roughly the same within that same class. However, here, you actually choose which stats you want to put your points in when you level up. So you got your health, mana, attack, defense, and all that. So instead of having very gear-based stats and everything is a part of your gear, for example, maybe I want to go health, power. What's the other one? And defense, right? Instead of all attack. I want a nice level soldier in quote build. And this really helps you do that. And it's not just my stats on my gear increased it by a little bit. No, it's as I'm actually playing, I am focusing more towards that. And not enough games do that. Seriously. This is called an MMORPG after all. It's supposed to have those RPG aspects like that. And it's so disappointing to get to the end game, and Guild Wars is especially bad with this. once you get to the end game, your character is just like the hundreds of thousands of other, necromancers out there, and it's really disappointing. There's also no incentive to play through the game again, and I think this game really does a fine job of that. I just think generally, like, everything is so amazing. It's gotten so much negative press, and I really have no idea why that is. I've looked at their comments, and it's like, oh, it's boring. How can you find this combat system boring? Seriously, I know it's not, like crazy revolutionary or anything, but it's really good, and the combat effects are just spectacular. I mean, I'm gonna put in my favorite clip here over in the background footage, and it's just like, I could watch this all day. I could watch it literally all day. Just watch someone play Cabal 2. And look at this. I mean, the freaking scythe, man. Freaking double scythe. How can you get better than that? And it matches up with all these freaking awesome effects. I wish more games had awesome effects like this. It would really help. But Guild Wars does this to an extent. World of Warcraft basically doesn't at all. But but it looks really amazing. And all the animations, of course, are just amazing. Except for cutscenes. Cutscenes suck. The story was nothing, wasn't, filler dialogue. At the very least, it actually wasn't that poorly written. It was written in such a way that while your quest is, lame, but at least you can actually read the dialogue and not go like, bleh, you know what I mean? You got a mount right away, which I thought was weird. You got it like 30 minutes into the game, so you can. This place is, of course, it's huge. I don't think it particularly looked unique, but maybe I just had to get further into it. So anyway, I went a little bit long, but I think this game is great. Make sure to keep up to date with it. I think there's a lot to check out. They just need to polish it. But otherwise, I've been Kings of Career with MMOplay.com, giving you a first look at Cabal 2. Thanks for watching.